Baruch is already a bigger platform.
I'm hoping that I want to take my son, but I can't take one, I want to take two. Taking two, I have to get a mortgage. So I didn't, yeah. So I don't know yet. So I really told myself to show myself and I'll go. So I just, yeah. So I'd be special. So it's a shame.
Do you know where we left off? Should. Of, who is talking about that? Right?
Rav Kook.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe he finished Aleph.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. We didn't get to college, so that's the end of the line. All right, okay.
Yeah, I know, another conversation. You know, it's still true.
I've been so spoiled.
Same place? Okay, then I want to make sure. Where are we? We're here. Come on. On page Kuf Chaf, this will be the last year before Yontif. This sefer is Pesach dik. The whole sefer is about Pesach. The whole sefer is about the cherus, the chofesh, the cherus that comes, being able to answer that question of Hayakah. And the avodah we're talking about of the past few weeks is that the only way to achieve chofesh is by being able to climb out of the smallness of one's own dal amas of the guf and to enter into the world of nefesh, ruach, neshama, chai, yichida. And the way that takes place is through giving, through doing for Kadosh Baruch Hu, for doing for others. To take oneself out of the smallness, of the katness of the self. A chofesh, on page Kuf Chaf, a chofesh hu ohu v'mavukash, kol kach b'nefesh enoshiz. That chofesh, that cherus that is so beloved and so sought after by all people, by everybody who lives. Tolui l'maisa b'shei lezu. To be able to be free, bamis. From all of the shibudim, not just the physical shibudim of being imprisoned or in golus and so on, but from all of the shibudim of the taivas that come with this world. Tolu l'maisa b'shei lezu. Really all depends on this question. And it's the question of Ayeka. Heichan ha'adam chai. Where do you live? Where do you live? Heichan ha'adam chai. Begufo. Is your entire life a life that's beguf? That doesn't mean that all you do is eat and sleep and so on, but everything in your life, it could be you read, you enjoy, whatever it is, but all revolves around that dimension of guf. Benafshai, you live in the world of nefesh, beruchai, ruach of nishmasa. Obviously, we live in all of that. But kshahadam osuk b'nesina la'acherim. When a person is occupied with doing for others, b'nesina la'acherim. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as I mentioned earlier, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on that list as well. In other words, if you feel like the guf is telling you to sleep, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying to you, I'm asking you to come talk to me now. Have Rahmanis. I miss you, I'd like to hear from you. So the choice of that moment is staying with yourself, staying imprisoned in that very, very lonely, isolated, selfish dal amas of your guf that wants to stay in bed, or to give to the Hashem Yisbarach, Kivyachol, to give. When a person is osik b'nesin la'acherim, so it means other people, it means Hashem Yisbarach as well. the interesting questions is that we see that this is something that's come up in conversation and in learning. So when you learn the Maharal, you learn this from, you see that the etzem of a male, of a man, is more ruchni than the etzem of a female, of a woman. The Tav. The Maharal uses the lashonos of Surah and Chomer. It means, put into the language of that we use nowadays, that a man, be'etzem, is more inclined to spirituality than a woman. Man is Surah, the woman is Chomer. So men feel very honored by that, and women get very insulted by that. And yet we see an interesting thing. I've been asked this question so many times over the years. Seems to all of us that women are more spiritual than men. Just we see that. Again, it's a klal, but derech klal. Women are more spiritual to men. They have more of a connection to tefillah and to tehillim and to the marshal ruchnias. That's the way it seems to us, and genuinely spiritual ruchnistic people. So obviously one needs to understand what does it mean, Chomer and Surah. What does it mean, more ruchni, less ruchni? But one of the things that I think is very much a part of this, and it's not a complete answer, but it's a partial answer, is that a woman b'teva, or even if it's not necessarily so natural for her, over the course of her life, again, if everything is moving along, Bez Hashem, family and so on, that everybody has that schus, but she is in a constant state of giving. Because the mother feels, the mother feels that there's nothing spiritual right now about cleaning up after this kid, or trying to give one kid a bath while the other kid's about to jump off the dining room table or something. And there's what's spiritual about that? It feels like you're in Mitzrayim, that you're an Eved. What's spiritual about it? But the emes is that it's an unbelievable spiritual Pesach, the spirituality. So even though man is more naturally inclined towards spirituality, but if he remains closed because he's not engaged in a constant or in a regular activity of giving to somebody else and doing for other people, there are many more people that are like that. So then that spirituality that's dormant inside of the man just can stay there, can lie there. Because the Pesach, to getting to that place of nefesh, ruach, and neshama, of reaching that deeper part of oneself, is through nesina. In the life of a woman, again, b'derech klal. In modern times, there's very, very, very big attack against a woman being a woman. But the teva of the woman is one of giving. And the lifetime in her life is a life of doing and of giving. Because when a person, when let's say the husband is singing the Beis Medrash and he's learning, that could be something which is the most spiritual thing, or it could be it's fantastic for him to be in the Beis Medrash and to be able to enjoy this piece of Torah that he's learning, because it's great, it's exciting, it's fun to learn Torah. It's wonderful. And that should build him into a much greater person, because when you learn Torah, it builds you into a greater person. So it's hard for him to understand that when he watches his wife and the way that she davens and the ruchnias and her avodas Hashem, I don't understand. I'm spending my whole day in the Beis Medrash, and my wife seems to be winning the race towards God. That comes to bathing children, changing diapers. that comes to getting up in the middle of the night while the little Talmud Chacham is snoring. I don't mean the baby, I mean her husband. Is snoring away. What about all the Torah that he learned? It's gewaldig. Especially if he learns with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, that'll make a difference in his ruchnius. But the woman is given over to other people. The fact that it's her own children, and everybody knows that if you're going to get stuck in your old age and you're by yourself, you better hope you have daughters. It's not too great to depend on a son. So don't count on it. If you got a girl or two, she'll take care of you. You're just stuck with boys. They'll tell you their opinion, but they're not gonna necessarily tie your shoelaces. I mean, it's a generalization. It's a very big generalization. Just ask the world. Giving is something that opens one up to ruchnius, as we learn. Rabbi Kiva got out, first was his wife, Am Yisrael, so on till his Vahat Shemekech B'chol V'Am Chol and Rabbi Kiva was killed like Kiddush Hashem. That Pesach of Shir, of loving and giving to others, that opens a person up. That's what he's saying. When a person is busy doing for others, he connects to that frequency of the neshama, the arutz, that broadcast, that frequency, that or of the neshama. And he begins to connect to the musagei hachayim, to the neshama's concept of life. And the neshama's concept of life is very ruchnistic, it's very spiritual. The neshama's Shamas Ruchnis. She'enem ele rotzen lasos tov. Because all the neshama wants is lasos tov, to do good. So the person who's doing good, like the mother bathing the children, that one who is constantly doing good is b'yodim v'lo yodim, without realizing it, is making an unbelievable kesher with the neshama. Mimela hu chavshi harbe yosef. Mimela, that person is much more free. Yuchai behechel ha'elyon shel neshama shelo. Because the giving person lives in the hechel ha'elyon, in that higher chamber of his neshama, of her neshama. It's a ben aliyah. It's a bas aliyah. It's a person who lives on a higher floor. A person who's doing and who's giving. Instead of living in that very, very tiny and constricted cell of the guf, of oneself. There's a sentence that's found in the Imrei Pinchas from the Rebbe Pinchas Karos of Skusi Elena, which I'll share with you. It's Erev Pesach. The Rebbe Pinchas Karos has said, he was talking about cleaning up for Pesach. Listen to the words. Hatirchos shetarchim be'erev Pesach. Those tirchos, that a person is tereach, that a person is busy, erev Pesach. Erev Pesach means, erev Pesach begins long before erev Pesach. The tirchos that a person is tereach, erev Pesach. Cleaning the house, cooking, preparing the food, the shopping and so on, all of that. Hatirchas shetorchen be'erev Pesach. Aidezeh odom shocheach iskei atzmo. Hear the words. Aidezeh, through those tirchas, the person forgets himself. He throws himself completely into doing for others, for the family, the cooking, and the cleaning is also for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and for the family, but he's leaving himself. Remember, it's Pesach is Man Cherusein. So the hachana for Pesach is getting out of yourself. Aidezeh Adam Shu, he says, Adam Shochech Iskei Atzma, Efages Gorenzech. He forgets himself. He forgets himself. V'hu bechinas Poishet Surah, V'loivesh Surah. This is the Bechina, it's a beginning in this Kabbalah, I'm not going into what that means, but he's taking off one garment, the garment of slavery to oneself. What I want to do, I want to rest, I want to relax, I want. He tears off that garment of I want, and he's completely busy with what he wants. And the good foods that my family wants, and the clean Pesach house. Poishet sur v'loivei sur. By the zeh yochel lakabel chiyus v'or chadash lePesach. It's what a beautiful sentence. And through that, the person is able to be makabel chiyus and an or chadash lePesach. Or chadash lePesach. A new light. An or chadash lePesach. In this form, we find that this is the remez in Shir Hashim that everybody that we're going to learn on Pesach. Every Erev Shabbos is good to learn Shir Hashir. It's a hachana for Shabbos. But Tzenu Re'enu B'nai Sion B'melech Shlomo. Tzenu Re'enu. Go out. The simple words. Go out. Tzenu. Go out and see. B'nai Sion, daughters of Yerushalayim. B'melech Shlomo. Shlomo HaMelech. And this is what I'm saying, that in order to come to the Madrega of Ure'ena, to be able to see, B'nos Sion means to be able to see the beauty in other Jews, and to see the beauty of Yerushalayim, and to see the beauty in the Shechina, which is B'melech Shlomo. Shlomo is Melech Shah Shalom Shalom. B'melech Shlomo is Hinta Hashem. In order to be zeicher to that madrega of Re'ena, to see other Jews for who they really are, Banas, and to see Yerushalayim for what she really is, and to see the Shechina Kadosh. The only way, this is what I'm saying, is Sena. Go out of yourself. Sena. If you go out of yourself, Re'ena, you'll see. That's why the Haggadah is Tzei Ulamad, my bikesh, Tzei Ulamad. This is what I'm saying, Tzei. Go out of yourself, Ulamad. And you will learn to go out of yourself. So therefore, the hachana for Pesach, we understand that in order to be able to prepare for that, for the chayfish, for the chayrus, of Zman Chayrus, one has to go out of oneself. And if Hashem has made the Jew, He wants the Jews should be completely busy during this time with doing for others. Others, it doesn't mean that you have to be on some thing, some chesed project for the world. It means to take care of your family and cleaning the house and all the hachanis. But the ikar is, like the Rabbi Piskar says, that the person is shechech iskei atzma. The whole year, even when it comes to ruchnias, but you're iskei atzma. And then comes before Pesach, all the avodah, all the work before Pesach is l'shkach miskei atzma. to come to Pesach. And then when it comes to Shvishal Pesach, which is the Tachlis, come to Shvishal Pesach and the ultimate Cherus, which is Achron Shal Pesach, which is Gula, which is Mashiach. But Shvishal Pesach, we came to Kriyas Yamsuf, and everybody's crying, and Hashem says, Matifsek Elai, Dabel B'Yisov Yisov. And everybody knows what the Chazal teaches, the Zohar Kodesh says that Hashem, what do you mean? Why are you screaming? What else are you supposed to do? You're supposed to daven? standing in front of the water, and the Mitzrayim are coming. So Chazal tell us, and so it says, Ba'atika tell you. That Atika means Keser, means the crown, means there's no, you don't have to daven over here. It's the Hashem's taking care of everything. Hashem yilachem lechem v'atem tacharishim. It's Ba'atika tell you. Atika means the ancient one. It means the highest madrega of Rav Kook, which we can't understand. Hashem's love for us, which is beyond our understanding. We don't have to even daven. Just go. It'll be good. But the Svarim say, Ma'atisak elai, you're davening, you're very good davening, but you really want to know where the Yeshua lies, davening is good. Ba'atika means laha'atik et atzmecha. And how do you translate that in English? Atika means to uproot yourself, move yourself. Ba'atika talia milsa, the Svarim say, means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to see if you're ready to do for others. And it's not just HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to see. Atika in the avodah of oneself means exactly what Pinchas Garz is saying. Vergesst goren sich, which means l'shkoch iskei atzma. To take yourself right now, you would rather relax, you would rather take it easy, and the whole inyan of Pesach is la'atik et atzmach. And it wasn't talking about getting up and going someplace away from your home. It was being in your home with your family, to get out of yourself. So that's just the irony of how Pesach has become a time of just indulging yourself more. It's a terrible, terrible, sad irony. The Pesach vacation, I'll be okay. I really did. I got a little bit this morning out of something. L'shkoch be'iskei atzma. L'shkoch be'iskei atzma. That's what it means to be chet. It means to be free. But you'll get the best time of your life if you come to this place. You will not have to work at all. You don't have to do anything. It's all going to be done for you. There are going to be Spanish people from Argentina, from Venezuela, from Mexico, running all around you all day long, folding towels under your head on Chol Hamoed. You don't have to do a thing. It's the opposite of Chayrus. Just think about it. That's Chayrus. But in the mind, that's how we think of Chayrus. If I don't have to cook, I'm free. If I don't have to be busy cleaning and helping and doing and running, especially when they're little kids, Baruch Hashem, are all over the place, and you feel like you're mamish and Evan. It's the opposite of the truth. The truth is, Chayrus comes from lishkoch et atzmacha, forgetting yourself. Because that's the portal, that's the gateway, that's the prosta that leads into the world of the neshama. It's the whole mitzvahs of the neshama is in the neshama. The neshama is in a world of chayrus, of bittul to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it's the unbelievable, unbearable irony of what people are making Pesach into. Which Kilu is a time when all it is about what I want and having it easier for me. And that is what they think is called freedom. It's the opposite of freedom. You're so meshubah to your goof, you can't let go of it for 10 days. For 9 days. This year's 10, 11. You're so meshubah to the goof, you can't let go of it. Even Zman Cheresenu, you're in Mitzrayim. You think that you're free because the poor loves at home. They're dragging around, crawling and with vacuums and doing stuff. And look at me. It's Erev Pesach. I'm sitting by the pool. It's such a horrible irony that Zman Cheresenu has. It's. And when people ask me, "What do you get so worked up about this?" Because because Pesach is the Yontif of Emunah, and it's been violated. I feel like Pesach has been violated. It's a violation of the Or of Emunah of Pesach. As Zman Cher was saying, it's the strongest time of the year to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu means L'shkoach et iske atzmach. The taste of what it means to be connected to something much bigger than yourself. And all it's about is now, what they're trying to sell is yourself. So, you can eat anything that you want. All your dreams of Gashmis will come true. It wouldn't be nice to advertise it as that if any of the men are interested, there's also a harem available for all those who are interested. They don't want to say that. It's not so nice. They haven't got to that place yet. If there are other types that you have besides eating 5 main dishes and falling on your face in the lobby when you leave the dining room. If there's anything else, there are other types that we could discuss that privately. We don't want to talk. It's the biggest shibud in the world. The biggest shibud in the world. Oisek be'iske atzma instead of l'shkoch be'iske atzma. Hanesinu hu atzad el haneshama. Weiter. Giving is atzad el haneshama. Atzad el haneshama. That when you're giving, then you are marching towards the neshama. It's that step towards the neshama. She's asking, how come this woman is such a ruchnistic person? The whole life is a life of doing and giving. One of the guys was telling me that they were laughing. A couple of chevra together. They were saying how they had this fantastic, perm suda, and all the guys were like with each other, just chevra, and they were eating and enjoying and singing, and it was almost Shabbos, right? And everybody's enjoying. And it was over, and there were no wives there because they were busy getting ready for Shabbos or something. There were no wives there. Like the guys looked at each other, and they like, now what? what do we do with all of this stuff on the table? And the mess. Like, now what? It's just the way it was described was very funny. But of course, because the women are supposed to swoop in and sweep up. And make everything Shabbos and beautiful, and the guys are sitting there after they had their ruchnistic experience. It was very spiritual because they were singing and they were dancing. It's very, very spiritual, and she's in the kitchen taking care of getting ready for Shabbos, and he's in all of his spirituality. But Yeshe b'Shamayim Yisra, what she's doing is much more spiritual than he's doing. She's doing for somebody else, and you're doing for yourself. Yeah, with all your ruchnias and your eyes closed and you're jumping around and dancing and all of that, that's more ruchnias. That she's exhausted. She's getting the stuff ready to put to get for Shabbos, to make Shabbos. Is more ruchnias. And then we're just wondering how come they're so spiritual. Because tamid yotzot me'iskei atzman, shochechot et iskei atzman. They forget always themselves. They're always forgetting themselves. And they're doing for others. And if you want to see if that helps with your spirituality, try it. If you don't believe what the Svarim say, you can try it. You can try it. I mean, in other words, going back to the person, tell the guys, let's talk about this. Maybe we could take care of it ourselves. Maybe we could, take care and help make Shabbos and do other good things. Giving is that step towards the neshama, towards chofesh, towards being free. El merchavei ha'ein sof, to the expansiveness of the infinite. Kipsios achronos b'chol shebesfas hayam. It's beautiful way he describes this. Like when a person is those last steps that you're taking when you're on the beach, and you're going to just step into the water. The water is endless, and you're just crossing over, entering into the ocean. The ocean is the neshama. See, it's like the last steps that you're taking b'chol in the sand, shebesfas hayam by the shore. L'krasa hafloga b'okianos hanitzchi, as you're about to enter into the ocean, into the endless ocean. B'naharos nachalei adanim. Rivers flowing of sweetness. Zo hamakor l'tchushos hasipuk va'oisha hamurgoshes b'adam mitoch nesina amitis ve'chusis l'zulas. That is the makar. That is the source of the unbelievable feelings of the feeling of satisfaction, of joy that a person feels when you're truly doing for other people something that's completely selfless, and you're doing for somebody else. That's the tchush that you have. It's a ruchnistic. It's the most unbelievable ruchnistic experience. Ein shum onig chamri o ishi sheyochel lamali es nefesh ba'osher. There is no physical pleasure, personal pleasure that can fill a person with as much osher, satisfaction, and joy. Kamo marahab barak be'einayim shenidlak yelad chola b'machla kasha shemakabel hu matana ahuva shemashkichim menu ktsase sivla. Like the look in the eyes, like the lightning in the eyes of the child. That the look in the eyes of a child who is sick, is not feeling well. And you bring the child something that he loves, a gift that helps him to forget about his suffering, his pain for a minute. That look that you get from the child, there's no greater oinig in the world than that look of happiness in the eyes of the child. That there's nothing that could equal that. The ruchnius of that. So there's a story that I've told over the years of the Heilige Sokolov, Schusi and Lena Kotzke's grandson. He's a huge guy in oil, and I first heard the story from Shlomo Kalov, Zechron Levracha. And then I saw it, it was Rav Shlomo would embellish it, but the story is an old story. And I'm not going to tell the whole embellishment because that would take around 45 minutes. But the story I'm sure that many of you remember is that the Sokolov, when he was married and he left Kutsk, so where he went to live, I don't know if that was Sokolov, I don't know where he was at that time, but it was hard for him because he didn't have, there was a medrash of Koska where he was, or being in the presence of that base of medrash of Kosk, all the tzaddikim that were there, and he was in some shtetl. So the Sokolov said that he went looking to find or. Now we don't know how to do that. We just darken and when you turn on the lights, but he was looking for something else. He was looking for or. And he said that there were different little shtibelach in this place where he was. There was shtibelach, and he walked into one place, and he saw a yid. He saw there was a tremendous light coming from this yid, an unbelievable aura that was coming that the tzaddik could see such a thing. And the Sokolov wanted to see who is this person. He saw an aura of a tzaddik. And he started to ask people, who's the guy? And they told him whatever his name is. Yankel, the Wasserträger, the water carrier, whatever. And so he wanted to find out. He asked people, what is it? They said, no, he's one of the guys, not a Tamachachim, not a Balavoida, fast davening, not anything. So the Sokolov tried to talk to him a little bit, get to know him, and he didn't see anything in this person. And then Sokolov said that he was taking a walk once, and it was on the outskirts of the village where the poorest people live, and he heard there was a tumult, and he saw there was a little house, and he saw that light that he had seen coming from the water carrier, that light was coming out of that, shining out of that, exploding out of that little house. And he went there and he heard that there were Jews that were singing and dancing. And there was somebody who was standing outside having a drink or something, and the Sokolov asked him, "Ma hayoy?" Like, what? Who lives here, and what's Vayontiv is this? It's not Tu B'Shvat, it's not Tu B'Av. You understand what's going on over here? So I said, this is the water carrier, the Yankel who has to Traeger's house. This is Yankel's house, and we don't know what's going on. He just said he's giving out drinks for everybody, so and some food. So we're just having a good time. We don't really know why we made a party, but you don't have to know. There's free food and drinks. These are poor people. Having a good time. So the circle is what's going on with this guy. So the Sokolov goes in there, like party. Oh, there's a big rabbi here, and he asks Yankel, "Okay, what's up with you? What is this celebration? What's the party?" So he said, "All right, nobody asked me. No, they were happy to have the drinks. I'll tell you if you're Rebbe. If you ask me, I'll tell you." He said, "I'm very, very poor. The worst job in town is to be a Wasserträger, a water carrier. It's the hardest job. And I have 3 daughters that I have to marry off. And the oldest one is already waiting of age. But, I don't have I don't have money. I get a couple of pennies a day, and I have to buy bread. I don't have anything. No one's wants to marry my daughter. I don't know what to do." So I was schlepping the water the other day, because he has to go. He gets up very early in the morning to bring the water to the shul, and it was slichas. I think I had to bring the water to the shul very early. The men should have some hot water to warm up, and I'm carrying this thing, and I'm saying, "Rebbeinu Shalom, if you love me, if you care about me, I'm asking you a taiva. I can't go on like this. I need 10,000 rubles." So he said, "I can marry my daughter off to a Talmud Chacham, and there'd be a dowry. I could give her a place to live. 10,000 would be a good number." He says, "I'm walking there, and I stopped, I was davening, I'm walking, and then I see an envelope on the ground." He's telling this over to the rabbi and to all the guys. I see an envelope on the ground. I put my water down, I bend down. It's an envelope filled with money, and I count the money. It's exactly 10,000 rubles. So I don't know what to do. I start dancing and I go to shul to bring him the water. And then I daven whatever. I'm like mamish in another place, and I go home, and my wife doesn't know how. I come in there screaming whatever, Fegela. And she says, we're rich. I start dancing. She doesn't know what I'm talking about. I didn't tell her. She just thought I was crazy, but I start to make plans of how to use this money, how to take care of things. And then I go to lie down at night. And what does it do? It's time for me to say Kriya Shema, right? I'm about to say Kriya Shema, and all of a sudden Hashem Shabbat talks to me. Hashem Shabbat says, "Yankel." You know the story, right? Hashem Shabbat says, "Yankel." And I said, "No." He says, "It's me, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu." I said, "Oh." Because what happened was like this. He went afterwards, when he was back in shul, there was a commotion that Rivka, the Almana, was crying. She was crying all over. She's crying to everybody that she had all of her life savings, that she had money, and people gathered for her to gather money, and that she lost the envelope. So Yankel's trying to go to sleep now, and Hashem says, "Yankel." He says, "What is it?" He He says, I want to talk to you. So Yankel says, I know what you want to talk to me about. He says, that's right. And he says, I put the pillow around my head. I don't want to hear. So then Hashem starts talking louder, and he says, Yankel, how could you say Kriya Shema? You're going to say Kriya Shema? When you know that you have the envelope that belongs to Rivka, you have the money, the 10,000 rubles, is Rivka's money, that's not your money. And he said he was so angry and so bitter that how could Hashem play such a trick on me? I didn't want to daven, didn't want to do anything. How could Hashem play such a trick on me that he would give me the Almana's money? And I didn't feel like saying Kriya Shema. I didn't want to do anything. Because I could have been a poor man the rest of my life. And I would have managed to get a few dollars together, make a wedding. But to give me 10,000 rubles and then to tell me it belongs to Rivka. So I didn't want to talk to Hashem anymore. And Hashem says, I don't care. Hashem said to me, I don't care about your Kriya Shema. I'm Michael on the Kriya Shema. But I want to know how a Jew is able to lie in bed when there's a poor woman that is crying and doesn't know what she's going to do the rest of her life. How do you lie like that in bed? So your uncle's telling this to everybody. He says, "So this." And Hashem keeps, and I try to go to sleep. And Hashem says, "Your uncle." And then finally I said, "Oh, forget it." I just get up. I get dressed, and I go and I knock on Rivka's door. And she's got scared, and she sees me. She says, "Your uncle, is everything okay? What's the matter?" She says, "Yeah, I found this. I think I heard it. If you lost your money, I found this money." So now he's telling us to the whole chevra, and he says, the reason I'm making this party is I want to thank HaKadosh Baruch that I'm a Jew, and that I couldn't sleep or say Kriya Shema, that he didn't let me sleep holding the money that belonged to Rivka. So I wanted to make a party. He said, because the smile and the excitement on Rivka's face when I gave her the money was worth 1,000,000 times more to me than the 10,000 rubles. So I wanted to give some schnapps and some resigners to my chevra, that's all. It's a murder kamais. And that's exactly what he's saying. He's saying that when a person goes, there's a child that's sick and that's sad, and you bring the child a gift, a piece of candy or whatever. And you're able to take a little bit away from the child's fear and the child's pain. The joy that comes from doing good things, doing for others. That's the heart. That's the pi'imos ha'chaim shel haneshama. That's the pulse of the neshama. You're feeling the pulse of the neshama. So that mother giving the bath to the kids, that's the deepest thing in the world. That's the deepest thing in the world. And it's infinite. No one can do that for you. That's you. That's you, and that's doing that's you. That mistake, that mistaken idea that chofesh, freedom, being free, enjoying, that's something that depends upon the circumstances of your life, whether you're rich or you're poor, whether you have a big house, a little house, whether you have the food that you like, you don't have the food that you like, you have that. All of that is a mistake. A ben chayrin is somebody who has whatever he needs, a lot of money. If ain't lo adon al harayish, and there's nobody telling him what to do, ta'usu. It's the most horrible mistake. if you don't believe it, I was going to say, look at the face of one of these like billionaire entertainers or something. Look at the face and just look at the misery on their face and look at the misery in their lives. Because freedom, tanuk, chayfish, is a ruchnistic, very, very edel ruchnistic thing. It's a musag pnimi. It's something that's pnimiistic. We're not talking about having fun or enjoying. We're talking about einig. Einig means something ruchni, something pnimi. That's a pnimiistic, ruchnistic thing. Shnotoli begormei chutz. That's not something you can get from outside. That's something that's inside. The body, it's something which is limited. It's just a fact. It's totally up to you. To be able to experience true chofesh, that's only something that can take place in that part of yourself which is free, which is the neshama, and which delights in freedom, in ruchnius. That's the neshama. You understand how Yishal Salantis Chusilano had spoke such strong words about the person who comes out from the mikveh and takes somebody else's towel, right? That's what that means. Or like I've mentioned many times, you'll have some guy that's in a tiny little mikveh and he's doing 150 dunks or something, and you have 5 cold people shaking with their towels, waiting to get into mikveh, and he's in his ruchni stick, he's toiveling, but everybody is getting pneumonia. He's toiveling over there. So Yisrael Salanta was saying, you go to the mikveh and you take somebody else's towel. It's the nahafeichu of ruchnius. To go to the mikveh is the lishkach at atzmecha. That's what a mikveh is, to forget yourself. And you take somebody else's towel. Lishkach, that's what you have people that go to the mikveh and it says that you have to pay a certain amount to the mikveh, and you have people that walk out of the mikveh and they don't give anything to the mikveh. It's hard to believe. But the people that run the mikveh have told me that the amount of people that go and the amount of money is very far apart. Very far apart. It means there's such a thing. Now, if somebody can't afford it, you just tell the guys, and of course, no, if they can't afford it. But you have people that will go into mikveh not to pay for mikveh, and it says, you have to pay. As you're going as a ganif into a mikveh, and that's supposed to be a spiritual experience. You're a ganif. What's spiritual about stealing? You're a selfish person. Not about somebody who can't afford, God forbid. You're a selfish person. Selfish means that asuk b'iskei atzmacha, that even the mikveh is yourself, is zich, you. It's not to connect Hashem as well. You think it is. Or you could be playing your music, and you could be making a tumult, and there could be some old person that lives next door that can't go to sleep. It's the same thing. Such a ruchnistic experience called Halam Kula, Geshet Sarma, and the person next door is not able to sleep. That's not ruchnius. That's Gashmi Shebegashmi. Gashmi Shebegashmi. Now, if the old lady next door comes, she says, "Hey, it is great. She wants to dance." That's gewaldig. But if she's having a hard time sleeping, that's Gashmi Shebegashmi. That's not any kind of a spiritual event. Bichlal not. Dat is a bali de bitui lobi choles chitzaynis. Kmo kesef shilton. This einig of the neshama, this unbelievable simcha, comes not from having more money or having more power. It'll be choles pnimis. It comes from choles pnimis. Shebe'emes enet tli b'shum adam or b'shum emtzai. Which that doesn't depend on anybody else, only you. Ela ba'adam atzom b'vad, where it's only us tov, just to be good. La says to do good. La ha'ir mitoicha pnime es ha'olam shesvivo, and to light up the world that's around you, the world that Hashem gave you. He gave you these friends, this family, this place. He gave you to light it up. So in the Kudas Acheres Baden, the Kudas Acheres Baden. Shein Shum Niver v'Shum Dover she'yochel lishlo. So there's nothing, no one can take that away from you because it doesn't depend upon money. Doesn't you can lose your money in a minute, Chas v'Shalom, but you can lose everything. But that no one can take that away from you. No one can take that away from you. But the toiv that people do, and you see this list go for so much toiv. Yeah, that we have here from one of the chaver that he the whole Israel Chesed, I think it's called Israel Chesed, right? It's unbelievable Chesed. It's been shining out from that place and from that and our friend's home, but he's and the other guys that are usuk in that the shkochet iske atzma. They're mamish like leaving their livelihood and their everything to what to think all day and night of how to help other people. So just give all the good things. That's ruchnius. That's ruchnius. It's the deepest ruchnius. And you could have other person that thinks he's walking around the whole day thinking about machlokes between the Ksais and the Nesivas, and he's the most spiritual person in the world, and he doesn't do for anybody else except himself. That's not ruchnius. It's a whole different thing. Right? We don't have time. That it says over here too, because there's a very, very important note in the back of the sefer that we're going to see from Rav Kook and Sheva. We're going to wait till after Pesach. This is the last year before Pesach. And we'll continue over Sheva Lechtik and Felech and Kosher and Pesach.
Amen.